Look, and I'm gonna be the judge, okay, not just somebody walk off the street. So real quick, the council, Regina Boston, Regina, Regina,
Regina, and yes, that is my real name.
Officer Mark Robinson. News officer. Health experience. All right, y'all ready? Good. Yes, sir.
You can follow along, just raise your right hand. This is in the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I state your name.
I, Regina,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of the City of Pearsall Police Department of the state of Texas and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
I do.
There you go. You're not getting married, but you don't have to. The city. Welcome aboard. I'm gonna put this back in.
Thank you, sir, yes.
Council, let's take a picture. Welcome. Welcome. So glad to have you. We're glad to have you. Yeah. Y'all please stand. Chief.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you and congratulations.
Do you want to get pinned?
Yes, kind of, and then.
Yes, I'm over here.
Okay, moving on to item 8B, presentation from Motor Mouth Entertainment regarding proposed report from the Hispanic Heritage Festival. Mr. Martinez, you have the floor.
Mayor, council members. Just wanted to, Mr. Reyes invited me to come up and just give you all the post report. I think, for the most part, you all were there. So, thank you for joining us this past October. Just wanted to give you guys an update on what we experienced out there, which you pretty much saw for yourselves. That festival, we had 2,468 weekend attendees. Yes, our lodging report has gone up once again this year. We had 97 confirmed hotel rooms that were used for over that weekend. Got very good response as far as the location, nothing negative that I witnessed for the most part. As I do every year, I reach out to the local nonprofits, some out of town, but we try to stick with the local nonprofits as I do every year. This past year in October, actually it was more like around September, I reached out to about 6 nonprofit organizations. Unfortunately, out of the 6, 7 that I reached out to, only 2 responded. One being the 4-H, I believe, and they pretty much couldn't commit at the time. Didn't know if they had enough manpower or whatever, so they went ahead and passed. The one that did accept my invitation was the Servants City Club, the motorcycle club, which I think we're all familiar with who the Servants are. They did a real good job. They pretty much met the demands that I had asked for and stuff. They did a real good job. Just a couple of little things that I'm gonna probably change. But their nonprofit organization made $11,195. So they were very successful. They did a real good job. Other than that, like I said, we got a good response and nothing negative. I'm not sure if y'all witnessed anything negative, the location. But I wanted to enforce that we had some out of town people. There was a lot of unfamiliar faces, you know. You can tell who's from our town, Dilly, Petula, but other than that, we had some unfamiliar faces, which is a good thing, which is what we always try to target. But other than that, is, you know, I appreciate y'all being out there. If there's any questions, any concerns, anything that y'all might want to address to my attention in regards to, the festival. Yes,
Mr. Martinez?
Yes, sir.
The mayor has a question. We
Yeah.
did include the expenses. Do you want to look at that? So we
Yes.
Do you have it?
Council, on page 47, the question that I have is, you got your fees, your deposit, and then it says payment due. Would you kind of walk us through what those are?
Okay, basically our expense sheet is, it's got all the items that we use, entertainment, security, radio, basically everybody that took part in the actual festival. The services of description is basically what they did.
The mayor's question was on the very last column. You have a payment due. That's been paid, is what he wanted to.
Yes, oh, I'm sorry, Mayor, I thought you wanted an actual,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, no, well, it's basically the fees is what the invoice cost.
Third column?
Yes, under the third column is what the charge was. If they required a deposit, which was given to them, basically, and then the payment due the time of the
It's
festival.
not due, it was paid.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But for our office, we see it as, this is what's due at the time of the festival. But, I mean, I can change that, if you require a different format, I can have
It's a
our
good
offices.
Yeah,
It's a
so
legit-
we're good, we're good, it explains.
Okay, okay.
On that.
And I'll make a note of that, because it makes sense, payment due,
Yeah.
this has been paid.
Okay,
This is an actual outline of all the fees of exactly the y'all's money.
okay, very good.
And we have, again, council, we didn't include that, but we have the contracts and we want to see invoices to those expenses there. We have a file, Crystal has a file somewhere. So you're welcome to review any, or anything you may have a question on.
Understand it was a great success, I was out of town, sorry I wasn't able to make it, but council, do you have any questions for Mr. Martinez?
Just a suggestion for
Yes.
this upcoming one, and do you think there would be any way possible for us to get maybe a carnival?
That has been brought up by several, Stella Matos is one of them. Just to give you a little, insight on how that works, for the past 4 festivals, I've reached out to every carnival we can possibly think of. I've actually become friends with as much as I talk to these people. 5 carnivals at the time of the festival, from September, October, November, December, all booked. They tend to go up north. Trust me, at the end of the festival, the week after, reached out, do y'all have any openings? It's basically to the point where I'll schedule our festival if they have an opening, and they're just all booked. But, you know, they question, well, how come Poteet? Well, Spinach Festival, Floresville, Poteet, those are contracts that have been set in stone for 20 plus 30 years. So they're automatic. I mean, they're automatic.
Divine
But-
had one the week after.
Yeah, they did.
Divine had a big carnival the week after, and I was very,
Yeah.
wow, we can do one this
Yeah.
one.
But
Like
just,
you said,
just,
it's way
we'll
ahead.
work on that. Is that
Yeah.
fair?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But I mean, to answer your question, I've tried, and I'm gonna still try. I mean, we just come into, January. I'll reach out here one more time, but I mean, I pretty much know the answer. And they've also mentioned, if you were having this function March, April, May, they're all available. And you would think that they wouldn't be available during those times because it's a warmer temperature, but unfortunately, they're not.
So have you considered moving it to a earlier time where they're more available?
Being that it's called basically we're celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month, which is between September the 15th and October the 15th, we would have to either rename it or it would have to be a totally different event.
Gotcha.
Not that it's not possible, but yes, sir,
Understood.
it's been considered.
Council, you have any other questions for Mr. Martinez?
With the organizations, Mr. Martinez, that participate with you, possibly brainstorming to see what else we could add to this event that will draw in the youth, the younger crowd, the kiddos, something that will entertain to the family itself.
Yes, sir.
Not just the adult, party event, I think.
To elaborate on that, there is a company that I've been talking to. Unfortunately, the only thing about it, it deals with like a miniature kind of carnival rides and stuff like that. The only thing is that they don't stay out there past 9 or 10 o'clock. And the problem that we'd be having for, one, they're a little too expensive, which would take a lot of the budget money. Number 2, they would try to be exiting out while the festival's going. And that's not, you know, being that we would have to use the baseball fields, and y'all saw how exactly everything was set up out there. It would be hard to, you know, but we're gonna be in the brainstorming here, you know, probably in another week or two, because it's time to get after the next one, which is, I might remind you, 9 months away.
Thank you.
Council, you have any other questions? All right, with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
You bet, you bet. Moving on to, item 8C. Update from Pearsall Police Department regarding police statistics, staffing, and related matters. Chief, turn the other floor.
Council, Mayor. So, basically, I'm just gonna be repeating what we spoke about earlier. Staffing, we're currently at 4 vacancies. That's not including the 2 we received in the cost grant recently. We're still in the process of figuring that all out. There's just a few steps left, correct?
Yes, sir.
But it has been awarded to us, so we are right now currently at 4. We will be at 6. We do have several people in mind. We've reached out. We, actually, HR, our public information officer, and my captain, Captain Gutierrez, they're gonna be attending a job fair tomorrow in San Antonio. It's a job fair that is all based on law enforcement, so hopefully we can reach out to some potential applicants out there. And, it's been tough. We're trying. Like I said, we're grinding, but, I mean,
Chief, would you tell us our total number of law enforcement officers now and how many more? So we're at 16?
yes, we're at 16. We're at 16 sworn officers.
And we have how many more
Full-time
slots for officers?
We have 4 currently, and then 2 with cost, which would be 6,
6.
which would be a total of 22.
I have a question,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
if I can, sorry.
yes, you bet.
How many cops do you have working at night? And I'm asking because I do have a concern.
Okay, at nighttime, we have between 3 and 4. 3, and
And the reason I'm
I
asking.
would rather speak to you in private, just because.
No, that's fine. The reason I'm asking, I'm gonna tell you, Mr. Flores, is because I did phone calls, but I noticed it myself, and I know my response is, we're not fully staffed. But I know there's an issue right now going around with little kids and other people breaking into stuff, and I actually witnessed it. Thursday at 4 something, it was almost 5 o'clock in the morning, yes, I was at Kickapoo, I was coming back. They were just walking around with their hoodies, their backpacks, slacks, and I'm like, the county cops were over there parked, shining their lights, they probably couldn't see them, they were around the park, but one was going one direction, the other, you know, they weren't up to no good at that time. So that's my concern, my worry.
These, the juveniles were at the county court?
They were walking, like, some were walking down the street on the side, and then others were going around, but like, they were just roaming around. They were kids, they're not adults, they were kids. There was like 6 in one group and 4 in another. And they're all in black, and I know because they had called me and asked, and then when I saw them, I go, they weren't lying to me, that they had kids that were knocking on doors and doing, you know, mischievous things, so I was just wondering how.
Yeah, no, it's
Like-
definitely something that we can look into. It's just, it all revolves around us being aware of what's going on. Just for the fact that you can't be in every single spot in town at once.
And I know you're always working, so you can't be like that night all the time too, so.
I know my officers, they're definitely out there. They're producing, they're busy. Yeah, I wish more of y'all would go and visit our police department just so y'all could see exactly what they're doing, because they are staying busy. It's just, it's one of those things where it's an uphill battle that the mountain never ends, basically. We're gonna keep pushing, we're gonna keep chugging along, but you just gotta keep pushing forward. With that being said, I don't know, let me see if I can phrase this where it doesn't sound too bad, but this past month, it's been lingering for a little while, but there was a bit of a rough patch where we're not receiving assistance when we needed it. We've already settled things, we already spoke about it, myself and the sheriff. So, we look forward to working with each other to try and solve some of these little issues. Just
We
gonna
have a
move forward
curfew,
from
right?
there.
We still have curfew, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Council, you have any other questions for the police chief?
Brenda, I think you, I see, Brenda, I know the last meeting, that's part of the reason there was items put on the agenda. I think towards the end of the meeting, there was you mentioned something, I think, you mentioned his name, but I'll mention Bobby, I think said it was inappropriate to ask the questions in that meeting. That was in, last council meeting. I don't know if you had those questions still, if it was something that.
I don't even know what
Was there anything you would like to ask the chief that you haven't previously asked? Now's the time. Okay.
I don't remember, I remember that.
All right, well, that looked good. We'll move on. Chief, again, thank you very much. We're grateful, and, on this day where we recognize the commitment you make to our community, thank you.
Like, just say one more thing.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah,
Just, I don't know if y'all understand, but I'm very grateful for the support y'all offer. As a group, Mr. Liao as well. I know y'all fully back the department, and, I couldn't ask for a better council, a better manager, a better mayor. Thank you.
thank you. Did you have a question? Okay, we do have a couple questions. Councilwoman Garland?
I just wanted to say, don't think that y'all's work doesn't go unnoticed. We do notice the good that y'all are doing in town, and that it's getting better, so, we really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, keep being transparent, because that's how you'll gain not only our support, but the community's support, because you said it earlier with gifts, we can't please everybody. We all work in places that somebody's always gonna be upset. But continue to be visible, continue to be transparent, be fair, and the things you guys are putting out on social media, that's letting everybody know what's going on, like the street racing today at work, that was
I like that.
amazing.
Yeah, I really
Yes,
like
there's
that.
gonna be comments about people laughing, oh, this, you know what, that doesn't matter. We're trying, and that's all we can do. So continue to be visible, transparent, and like I said, fair. We'll move forward.
That's one of the things that I take pride in, is that I'm completely fair, with my officers, with the public. I take nobody's side. I'm just gonna do, we're just gonna do what is right and what is best, and that's it. It doesn't matter,
People are always
it
gonna
doesn't
have
matter who it
bad
is.
things to say. It
It
doesn't
doesn't matter who it is or who they're related to or
Yeah.
anything.
You do your job.
We're just gonna do our job, and that's just what it is.
We can't
Thank you
please
for
everybody.
All right, thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, moving on to item 8D, presentation regarding improvements of ground and elevated storage tanks at the Cherry and Colorado plant. This is a presentation. We have our utility director, Hector. You've got the floor.
You guys,
It's in your packet, it's that time, so we'll be all that had questions earlier.
It's in your packet, Councilman. This is,
Before we get started, two things that I have to apologize for. It looks like some of the verbiage got cut off on some of these pages here. So
No, theirs is correct.
there's-
Theirs is for, I reprinted theirs
Okay,
separately,
good.
the way you sent it.
Good, good. And the other thing, I did fail to put one section in here on the north plant. Mr. Reyes brought that up. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
It's the inside of the well. I do want to address, and start with that, and then state that, the inside of the well is complete. Now, the only, what I put on here is the outside.
the tower.
The tower, correct, the elevated storage tower. The EST, it's complete on the inside. We're waiting on some the disinfection portion of the job, which will allow for this paint to solidify and so we can start filling it up. But what I did address on there was the outside portion of the, and that would be the Colorado, not the north plant, I'm sorry, the Colorado plant. I did address the outside. The outside, I did put on there, it did not provide any after photos because they're not done with the project yet. They just barely started on the outside. So, but altogether, we were to put a number on it, we're at 75% complete turnkey. So we're looking at 2 weeks, 2 weeks before, it should be complete, depending on the weather, inclement weather. You know, we're supposed to get some bad weather, so when the weather's bad, they don't work, period, end of story. You know, they just go home. Moving on to the, you have any questions on the North plan? Besides, y'all had earlier questions, on the Colorado plan, y'all had questions earlier, so might as well get them out of the way.
About the road?
That was just about the road, and I think